YouTube. So, like I promised, I'm back with another video. So today I'm going to be comparing my current pregnancy to my phantom pregnancy. So, if any of you are new to my channel or this video or anything and it's the first time you're watching me, I highly suggest you go watch my video before so you kind of know what's going on and you can catch up. So I'll be putting that video link in the description so any guys or any of you people that are new can go watch that. But if you have already watched that video and you're watching this one, I really appreciate you coming back and thank you for the support and for hearing my story and watching my videos. So, before I start, I wanted to just say that it's honestly so surprising how much support I got on my last video. Now, I know to some people it's not a lot, but to me it's a lot. Yeah, there are just 4 comments or so, but even though it still means a lot and it's more than I could even imagine or ask for. So I just wanted to say to the people who commented on that last video, congratulating me on my current pregnancy and being so sweet and so understanding and, thanking me for telling my story. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for not judging or being negative or any way. That actually means a lot. So I just wanted to put that out there real quick. You guys are amazing and I really wasn't expecting it at all. I honestly was expecting worse because that's just how I am. I always expect the worst of everything. So, yeah. Moving on. This video that I'm doing today, I'm going to be doing in another reference to Crystal Lujan, who I also talked about in my last video and explained how me and her got to talking and how we kind of became acquainted and with each other, and we started getting on this whole topic of cryptic pregnancy. So she helped me a little bit back when I was telling her my story and asking for her for help to get it out there because I didn't have the necessary tools to get it out myself. Plus, at that moment, I was kind of being told from several people, including my family, who knew about the situation that I didn't need to put it out there myself. I had actually mentioned to, I believe, my mom that I wanted to make a video myself, and no offense to her or no hate towards her or anything, but her immediate response was, I think it's just good that you let her handle it because you don't need to be doing it yourself. Well, I did a lot of thinking, and I knew that wasn't the way to go. That's not me. That's not my personality. I don't run from things. I face them head on. I've always been like that, and I thought about it. I'm like, no, I got to put it out there. So that's why I did, and I finally, put in the work to buy all the necessary tools I needed to and everything. So here we are. Today is December 4th, and my baby shower is tomorrow, so I'm very excited with that. Tomorrow we're going to be having just a virtual little baby shower because of COVID and everything. But of course my grandmother and my uncle are coming, and we're doing a live through my Facebook event with all my friends and family on there. So, I can say for sure, 100%, there has been several differences with this pregnancy. And the differences I would definitely say is a lot of mental differences, with how I'm feeling about my body, how I'm feeling and everything. There has been a lot, of course, of physical differences, just right in your face differences. But I will say one thing. I know a lot of you, or even Crystal, might be wanting me to do a fetal Doppler experiment with this current viable pregnancy compared to the Phantom. But unfortunately, I was going to order one, but it's like 30 something dollars for one of those. And the last one I had that I did use when I was having and experiencing my Phantom pregnancy, I ended up moving, and the person I moved in with had 4 kids, and they had destroyed the thing. They poured some liquid in the battery pack, or they spilled something in the battery pack part. The battery is messed up. It wouldn't turn on hardly ever. The little probe part, whenever I would try to plug it in, it would go in and out like it wasn't receiving. At the front door. Excuse my Alexa. But like it wasn't receiving, or it wasn't connecting very well. And I did try to fix it myself. I unscrewed so much stuff. I tried to figure out the problem and be a little handy woman, I guess, and do it myself. But unfortunately, it was just too much, and I just ended up just throwing it away and haven't got a new one since. So I can, although it's not going to show my face because it's from this angle, but I can add a video of me at my OB appointment of my doctor doing it, so that it can be compared and still count, I guess. But I don't have a physical Doppler now. So I apologize for that. That is totally my fault for not getting that together and buying that yet. But I can do that at least. But in the future, I will try to get a Doppler and actually do it on camera for you guys and through the video, so that it can be, I guess, more live. All right, so yeah. So I'm just going to be going down a list, of course, of things from the Phantom pregnancy I experienced, and things with this current pregnancy that I experienced, that the differences, and if there's more, or if it's the same, or what differences there are. Just basically going down every single one, explaining what's going on, and did I experience it with this, blah blah. All right, so I have a list right here that I made, of course, for this video, just to document some things that I could compare the two with, and make note of that. So of course, I will say this: a lot of my pregnancy with this one, in the beginning, for sure, I wasn't really, how you describe, like, aware. Like, in a way I was, but this is how I'm going to explain it. I had so much anxiety and like so much trauma from my Phantom pregnancy and everything that happened and all that, that in my mind I was still like freaking out that it wasn't real. Even though I had the confirmation through ultrasound, and I even had my HCG checked multiple times to make sure it was rising, all kinds of stuff, even though it was still very hard to snap out of the feeling of it's not real, or it's a dream and I'm just living in a dream. I'm gonna wake up any minute and be back to not pregnant and still going through the same stuff. So I guess that's typical for somebody who has, you know, trauma and anxiety from past experiences. Um, but I will say that I have now finally woken up and realized, and I'm a lot more happier during this pregnancy now that it's definitely getting way more closer, and I'm definitely feeling better and myself, I guess. So, one thing I wanted to compare, definitely with symptoms. Let's see, in the beginning of the phantom pregnancy, like I had mentioned in the last video, the only thing I really started feeling was nauseous towards the beginning, and that's kind of what indicated, and also with, you know, not having a period and everything, I was like, something's not right. And let's see, I was also really, really tired, like just wanted to sleep all the time. So, and I know people would be like, oh, every pregnancy is different, you know, you could have really been pregnant or whatever. But I will say from my experience, it was definitely more surreal this time, and it was more of a snap, like, yeah, you're definitely pregnant, you have to test. So, the first thing that I experienced was TMI for anybody who, you know, gets squeamish about this kind of talk, or, you know, doesn't like to hear this kind of talk. So just kind of like a warning for that. But my sex drive was definitely up, especially after ovulation. Like, when I noticed that something wasn't right, I was very lubricated. I know that's so weird to say on camera. I was very much more lubricated. I was very much more, I don't know, just very just crazy for like my sex drive and stuff. On April 30th, with this pregnancy, I had some light spotting. And like, it wasn't like any typical light spotting I had before. It was more love, like really, really pink, super duper light. And it was maybe about that big on the toilet paper. Pretty watery too. Like, it wasn't like a just one big spot. It was more of like I wiped and it would be kind of like a little streak or just a smudge. So, I did have spotting in the past, and I definitely had it with my phantom pregnancy, but with the phantom, it was very much so on and off. It was like I would have spotting, but it wasn't pink. It was like a bright reddish, like my period was trying to come on, but then it never came on, and it just kept going and off, going and off, going and off through the whole pregnancy almost, or experience, I should say, almost. So it was very weird. But with this spotting, I can definitely say it was very much different. There wasn't really much pain with it. The only pain I could really say was I had a little bit of cramping on my sides and stuff and towards my uterus and stuff, but it wasn't like period cramping. It was more of like I guess people describe it as twinges, or like a kind of like a pulsing kind of cramp a little bit, and dull, very dull. And so that was one thing that was weird. Well, I knew that it couldn't have been implantation, and me and my fiance literally sat on the bed researching and researching and researching on Google, like, what the heck could it be? So initially, of course, that was post-ovulation spotting. So I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, or if anybody's ever experienced that. But it is a thing that happens to not all women, and not all, you know, women who get pregnant, but it happens very commonly sometimes, once there is a successful ovulation, of course, for a woman. And I had it a day after it said I would ovulate. So it's very weird. I had also asked a lot of other people and friends who have been pregnant or who have experienced this, have they experienced it? And a lot of my friends and family were like, oh yeah, I've had that before. That's common. And da 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 da. Even women who weren't pregnant when that happened, it happened too. So I was like, oh, okay. So then I waited, and it came around the time for my expected period, and I didn't get it, of course. So it was like 3 days after that, I had more spotting. And I'm like, oh my god, what is my body doing? And I kid you not, guys, I was freaking out. I'm like, not again, not again. Like, I didn't even, hope for this that much like I did last time. I was freaking out. I was like, please, no, not again. I thought my body was screwing up again. So this spotting happened, of course, 3 days after the my expected miss period, which was on May 13th is when it was. And I had the spotting on May 16th. 16th or 15th. And I'm like, all right, so I waited. And this one, just like the last one, I know I didn't mention that. I'm all over the place with these videos because I'm so unprepared and stuff with what I'm gonna say. So it just comes to me while I'm going back in my head with the story and what happened and experiences. But that's why it's so all over the place, because I don't write things down or prepare it ahead of time. But yeah, it only lasted a few hours. The first time, I'd say it lasted about 2-3 hours. The second time, which was the 3 days after my miss period, it lasted about 5 hours. So, and I kid you not, guys, I literally kept going back to the bathroom for no reason. Didn't even have to use the bathroom. Would just go to the bathroom to check to see if it was gone, to wipe and see, is it gone? Is it gone? Is it getting darker? And is it getting lighter? And freaking out, and just being such a hypochondriac. But so, yeah, it did. It went away within a few hours, and that's when me and my fiance talked. I'm like, something's not right. Also, around that time, my breasts were super tender. But with the phantom pregnancy, the tenderness was more of if I tried to see if it was tender, it was tender. But it wasn't on its own, feeling pulsing or feeling more tender or just hurting. With this, I can definitely say anything that touched it, shirts, I would even get in the shower, and the water from the shower head, if it touched it, it would hurt so bad. It was almost as if somebody was constantly stabbing me and punching me in my boob. So that was definitely a difference for me, that I knew something was not up, and or something was up. And I can say I did hear many times during the times when I was experiencing the phantom that it was when you're pregnant, your boobs hurt and it feels like this and it's like this. Well, with phantom pregnancy, none of it was like that. It was more of, like I said, to see if it was tender, and oh yeah, it hurt a little bit. But with this one, it was definitely like everybody says. It was oh yeah, when water hits it, when you're wearing shirts, you can't even, it hurts when you wear shirts. You have to wear a certain bra. You can't wear a regular bra and everything, or it hurts. That was definitely true for this. So that was another difference. Morning sickness. With the phantom, like I said, I was nauseous, but I never really threw up. It was more of a wave of nausea and kind of feeling groggy and, like crap. with this, I could definitely feel the nausea just kicking up to where I was about to throw up. And I can say this pregnancy has had a lot of nausea and morning sickness, more than I expected. I still experience it all the way up to 8 months right now. In the beginning, it was super horrible. It started at 6 weeks pregnant, and it ended, or I shouldn't say ended, it started getting better towards the second trimester. But I wasn't not having nausea. It was more of I wasn't throwing up as much anymore. And then it kicked back up in the middle of the second trimester, and now it's still going on. And there was one moment where I would throw up so much, and I would be so nauseous and just so out of it with this whole morning sickness that I was passing out. The first time it happened, I was in the shower, and luckily my fiance was literally right in the next room, and our shower, our bathroom is connected to our room, so he heard it, and he heard me fall, and he came and checked on me. And we started checking my blood pressure, and my blood pressure was super duper duper low. And so my fiance was telling my mom, and my mom's like, oh, well, she needs to sit up, she needs to prop her feet up, she needs to drink, maybe she's dehydrated. And like, we were just trying to figure out what the heck is going on. So it was just so many things at once. So then I had went to my OBs, and I explained to him that I was experiencing really bad morning sickness to the point where I was passing out. And we found that it was a possibility of two things. It was a possibility of something called hyperemesis gravidarum, and a possibility of severe dehydration. Well, this is a thing. I did research, and my doctor also explained it to me a little bit. Severe dehydration is one of the first signs of hyperemesis gravidarum. So, of course, he gave me some medication. He put me on some morning sickness medication. It wasn't Zofran. It was more because how he explained it, my doctor, he was like, I don't want to put you on Zofran because that's not going to be beneficial for this. Because if this is hyperemesis gravidarum and it is that severe, then Zofran's not going to do anything. So he put me on something that's similar to Zofran but stronger. So what I was advised to do is, since it's stronger, I just need to take it whenever it's like an emergency and nothing else is working. So that's what we did. And yeah, it was horrible. My mom had to buy Pedialyte for me. I had to constantly make sure I was drinking. My doctor also wanted to keep an eye on my blood pressure, because literally the number on the bottom would be in like the 50s or 40s. It was so low, especially for me. So, yeah, it was crazy. I was having levels checked back to back with all kinds of stuff. I had my liver checked. I had like the liver enzymes. I had my what else was it? I had basically anything you could think of checked. My liver enzymes. I had my the anemia stuff checked to make sure I wasn't anemic. All kinds of blood tests. Of course, I got tested for the preeclampsia stuff for the protein. I had to do a 24-hour protein where I literally had to pee in this jug every single day when I went to the bathroom and collect it. And then I had to bring it up to the lab for them to have. And I'm saying, like, literally, this jug was like this big. But yeah, it was like, I was just tested for so much stuff. And then the preeclampsia, of course, I was tested for it because I am high risk. And during high risk pregnancies, your doctor will literally test every single thing. Will test your, of course, glucose, which is normal to test with even a non high risk pregnancy. But yeah, the preeclampsia, I was tested for my anemia levels were tested, like my blood levels, um, my liver enzymes, every single thing you can think of. Progesterone, I had to be on progesterone pills that I had to insert up there for like the whole first trimester until the second trimester, and then he took me off of them, my doctor. And yeah, so definitely a lot of differences. I can definitely say. Comparing the ultrasounds. The ultrasounds that I had, which I actually had quite a few, more than a normal pregnancy would have, because of course, the high risk and everything. The first ultrasound I had was the day I had gotten my pregnancy confirmed through the doctor's office. So, of course, we took a test. We had went in the bathroom and just took this little cheapie early in the morning, and I think we took it like at 4 o'clock in the morning, like the next 2 days after I had that spotting, because I'm like, okay, we're just gonna wait it out and see if it comes back. If it doesn't, we're buying a test and taking it to see. And that's when we took it. So it was just like one of those little Walmart ones, you know, they're like 88 cents, and purple and white, has HCG on it. So we took that, and I actually still have the test because it was so bolder than I thought it would be, that the dye is still on there, like on the test to this day. So we kept it, but yeah, it was super bold. We turned it around like after 3 minutes, which is the time you're supposed to do, and me and my fiance both looked at it together, and it was a shocking, like, denial moment. It was more of like, yeah, it's really dark, but I think this thing is broken, in my opinion. That's how I was feeling. And my fiance's like, oh my god, look how dark it is. And I'm sitting here like, yeah. And in my head, I'm going, that thing's broken. Because I never experienced that before. It was so crazy. So of course, after that, I went and got my pregnancy confirmed through the doctor, made an appointment, and luckily for me, because all the other doctors I've been through, I was done with because of the phantom and everything. I was just done with. I didn't want to go back to them. I didn't want to face them. I didn't want to look at them, because if I really was pregnant this time, I did not want them being my doctor. So I found another OB office that had luckily and very fortunately just moved into my town from another town that was in my state, but it was quite a ways away. And they had just moved into a building right down the street from my house. So called them, you know, asked them if I could get an appointment. They scheduled me an appointment on May 26th. And got in there. Of course, Corona and everything was still around, so my fiance was not allowed to go back to the room with me at first. He had to stay in the lobby. But after that, when it was confirmed and everything, I asked him if he could come in back there with me, since it was our first together like this, and it being like this big and, you know, experience like this. So I was like, can he please be back here? The doctor was like, okay, fine. So he had a mask on, of course, and he came back there, and the doctor was like, I'm going to go ahead and do an ultrasound now. After telling me that my urine pregnancy test there came out positive, which I really was not expecting. And so he did the ultrasound. He did it, of course, the wand one, the intravaginally one. And I think I already showed a picture. I may haven't. But I actually have a picture of what it looked like at first. I'll be right back. Alright, so anyways, the first ultrasound I had that day when it got confirmed, the fetal pole was not developed yet, so obviously I was super early. But this is it. So that's of course the yolk sac, and then or the gestational sac, and then that little bubble that you see right there, you can see it, that is the yolk sac. So she was not developed at all. Like, her fetal pole wasn't in there or nothing. All it was a gestational sac and the yolk sac. So it was on May 26th of this year. But since you can't see it in the picture on here, I'm going to go ahead and just put a picture right now of when I first took the picture of it, so you can see the date and everything like that. So yeah, like I said, super duper early. So my doctor, he told me to go ahead and just, we would schedule like an appointment, another appointment like a week later, and I could come back and see if the fetal pole has developed. And guys, the things he was telling me was very scary. He's like, if the fetal pole hasn't developed by then, we'll still give it time, but it's probably a sign that the baby is not going to make it, and it's not going to go through to full term. So I'm sitting here freaking out like, oh my god. So he scheduled me another appointment, and I had another ultrasound, of course, and another intravaginally ultrasound. And this is the ultrasound from that, when she finally developed. And this was on June 5th was when this ultrasound was. So she finally had developed a fetal pole. And focus real quick. And yeah, so I was very happy. I was relieved. I was like, oh my god, thank God. And then that's when we finally decided to tell my parents, to tell only like really close family, like my brother, my mom, my dad, my grandma, things like that. So yeah. So to compare it to the Phantom, when I was having the ultrasounds with the Phantom, the ultrasounds were very blurry. There was, I can definitely say, from the ones I was having at the hospital to the ones that I was buying from the ultrasound clinics, it was, you couldn't tell at all. Like, it didn't look like a regular ultrasound, but in my messed up, wanting to believe head, it looked like it was. But everybody was telling me, I don't really see anything. That doesn't look like a baby, blah, blah, blah. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, it does. What are you talking about? You're crazy. Now I see, to this day now, from that, I now see what they meant when they would say, I don't see anything that doesn't look like a baby, because comparing it to my ultrasounds I have now, I can definitely tell, yeah, definitely not the same, definitely doesn't look the same. My ultrasounds from before, you couldn't even really make out anything, and it didn't look like how these look. So even my really early ones I had, like the ones I just showed you, and a couple after that, didn't even look like from the Phantoms. These are definitely way more noticeable. You can definitely way more tell. And yeah, so that's one of the things I can definitely say was definitely a wake up difference. Like, yeah, this is actually happening. I also had a doctor there confirming that's what he was seeing, and not me making accusations and, you know, thinking, oh, that's what that is, you know, and not having a doctor or anybody telling me that's what that was compared to this one. So, yeah. So the next thing I'm going to compare is my HCG. So, with the HCG situation with my Phantom, I was having very, very, very hard times getting it confirmed just by pregnancy tests because there was no HCG. So I would go to the hospital, of course, and they would do blood tests. When they do blood tests, of course, instead of just saying positive or negative, it's going to have a number or a, what do you call, a, basically a level of HCG in it. So that's the thing, was those levels from the Phantom, they were always like the 0.01 or 0.05, I think, at one time, and there was nothing really like how it is now. My levels with this pregnancy were all the way in like the 100,000s. My first time I got my levels checked, which was, I want to say, a day or two after I had my first ultrasound and had the pregnancy confirmed. It was 5,000 and something, 5,800 and something. I actually have screenshots from it because it was so high, and the levels have never been that high, and that's one thing that shocked me, like, oh my god, this is real. Your levels really do get high like this. So I have it all documented on my patient portal for the hospital and everything, and I'll put those screenshots here and stuff. But so you guys can see. So yeah, it was definitely different experience, definitely way more than the Phantom, definitely confirmed pregnant. And of course with the pregnancy test at home, I was never really getting a positive. I was more getting evap lines and making it look like it was a positive with my line eyes, or just letting it sit longer, and just wanting it to look positive. And with this pregnancy, of course, like I said, it was super duper positive. So yeah, those are some definite differences. Symptoms, like I described a little bit in the beginning, way different symptoms, way different times. As the pregnancy went on, those symptoms still continued. But when I would like check on my app, because I have a pregnancy app where I would look at the symptoms for that current week, I kid you not, I would literally experience pretty much almost every symptom on that list. With the Phantom pregnancy, of course, I never really experienced the symptoms it said I would have. Other than just nausea and sleeping a lot, fatigue. But I was like that even, you know, before the Phantom. It was more of just like my body was just so tired of, you know, everything going on. I was, yeah, it was bad. So, symptoms were definitely different. You know, it was more accurate with my app with this pregnancy, with things that they said would happen, it would happen. Literally. Like, it may not happen that first day when I turn that week, but I can definitely guarantee every time it's always been either the next day of that week, or like the third day of that week, when I would start having all those symptoms, and I'd be like, oh yeah, this does make sense. So alright, so next is the fetal heart rate on the Doppler. So like I said, I don't have a physical Doppler anymore with me, but I can post videos. So with the video that I put in my last upload on here, when I was telling my story, you could tell it was more of back and forth sounds. It wasn't steady, it wasn't strong, it wasn't a rhythm really. It was more just like sounding like swooshing sounds. And I believe I mentioned this on the other video, but I would basically go online on YouTube and I would search in the search bar, fetal heartbeat at blah 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 weeks, whatever week it was, so I could hear how it sounded, to make sure it sounded the same. And this was with the phantom pregnancy, and I never really got the same sound, but I convinced myself it was the same, and sometimes I would even convince myself that it's just different, or I'm just different and it's not going to sound like theirs. Well, with this pregnancy, which I'll be posting a video of that too, of when I was at the doctor and my doctor did it with the Doppler. I asked permission, of course, if I could record because I wanted to send it to one of my friends, and so he confirmed I could record. But this is the recording from that. That's her.
Yep, 152, 153, so that's good.
Okay.
I can probably measure about like here.
Thank you. As you can see, definitely sounds like how it sounds on the videos or how people says it sounds. It's way more stronger, it's way more rhythmic, it's way more expected of how it's supposed to sound. And you can definitely like catch on like, yep, that's baby's heartbeat. And you can also hear my doctor going, yep, baby's heartbeat, there it is. So yeah, I know a lot of people, whenever, you know, they try to find a heartbeat with the Doppler and they hear those sounds that I was hearing my phantom, they're like, oh, there it is. This is not any hate towards that. This is not any disrespect towards you guys or anything, but from that experience to this, you know, I'm sure also Crystal can vouch on that because she even made a video explaining the difference of the heartbeats on the Dopplers with phantom and, you know, current viable pregnancy. It is not the same. There's definitely a difference. It is definitely more of you hear it and there's no doubt, yep, that is the baby's heartbeat. Those swooshing sounds, and my doctor even explained this to me, and also my friends had explained it too, some who are in the medical field, some who aren't. Even with a viable pregnancy, you hear those sounds because with this pregnancy, before he would get my baby's heartbeat, he would hear those sounds like when he was looking around to see where she was, especially in the early stages, you can hear those sounds. So there's definitely a difference, because when you're first looking for it, what you're hitting when you're hearing that swooshing sounds, it's either your bowels moving. There's also a vein that runs across your stomach that I've heard that carries blood flow, and also blood flow to your ovaries makes that sound. I can say that for sure because when I would have ultrasounds, even with this pregnancy, like at the hospital to make sure everything was okay, when I was in the hospital at one point, they would play that out loud on the ultrasound machine, and of course they don't show you the screen, so you're just laying there and they do explain listening to the blood flow to your ovaries, and that is exactly what it is. So that is not the baby's heartbeat, and like I said, no disrespect, no, you know, hate towards anybody or anything or anybody's beliefs, but that's the reality of it. So yeah, I just, as you could tell from my video, It's strong. Every time I went in, my doctor would be like, oh my gosh, her heartbeat is so strong, strong heartbeat, all this stuff. And yeah. So that is a comparison. So moving on, fetal kicks, the difference between the Phantom and my current pregnancy, a viable pregnancy. So the fetal kicks I would have with my Phantom. I started feeling those, I'd say about 12 weeks in the experience, is when I would start feeling kind of like some wormy feelings, like almost like a rush or a quick movement in there. And up to about 22 weeks of that Phantom, I would still keep feeling them, and I would feel them every day. I would feel them all the time, but I would not see it. Even when I was getting bigger, I would not see it. I would watch my belly for hours to see if I could see my belly like moving or even looking how it looks with other people when they're pregnant, and I could not see it. It would just do it and nothing. There'd be nothing. So, I did post a video one time of me trying to get a kick with the Phantom, and my belly did do like this weird wave, but it never did how you would see in other people's videos or other people's experiences when they were pregnant, when their baby would kick, how it would literally look like a kick, like a lump or like a jump or anything like that. Mine did not look like that. It looked like a wave. So it was very, very odd. So on top of that, with this pregnancy, when I feel a kick, I feel it. It's not a worm feeling anymore. In the beginning, it was. I can definitely say it was pretty similar to the Phantom pregnancy, but now that I've gotten further along, it hurts. It really, really hurts. It feels like jabs and stabs. Sometimes it feels like she's doing flips in there. It's crazy. So, definitely a difference. Especially getting further along, more of a difference. It hurts. It'll happen out of nowhere, and I do have videos of her kicking with this current pregnancy and what it looks like. So I'll put those here right now. I actually have two.
Come on, Allie. Come on. Oh, there we go. There we go. Alexa, play Gangster's Paradise.
Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio, featuring LV on Amazon Music.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Cause I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never crossed a man that didn't deserve it. Me be treated like a punk, you know that's unheard of. You better watch how you're talking and where you're walking, or you and your homies might be lying to chalk. I really hate the trip, but I gotta know. As they croak, I see myself in the pistol smoke. Fool, I'm the kind of G the little homies wanna be like, on my knees in the night, saying prayers in the street light. Look at the situation they got me facing. I can't live a normal life. I was raised by the street, so I gotta be down with the hood team. Too much television watching got me chasing dreams.
So yeah, as you can see, you can definitely see the first one. I was 23 weeks and she was kicking in the corner and you can see it go bloop just in one spot. It wasn't doing a wave. It looked like how it's supposed to. And then the second time I want to say I was 25 weeks, maybe a little bit later. My brain's been so all over the place, I don't even remember, but it even looks more and more now. Like you can just see, like it's just, you can tell like it's in one spot and it just looks like a big bowl just going whoop. So, yeah, and she does kick a lot at night. And I noticed with the Phantom, I would do everything in my power. I would jump around. I would do everything it says to do to feel a kick when you're pregnant, and it wouldn't happen. The only times it would happen was when I was really wanting it to, or thinking about it, or something like that. It wouldn't happen like with me drinking something really cold or anything, or doing anything that it was telling you to do to make it happen, like the internet and stuff. With this pregnancy, when I drink something cold, when I eat something sweet, when I lay down really quick, or especially when I'm going to bed, she goes crazy. But it's never hardly on demands. Like, I'll try to like poke my belly sometimes, and she'll just be like here and there, like move, but it won't be like big ones. Now, when I play music, and certain music that she likes, which has been weird, she's been liking like these really old rap songs, like Gangster's Paradise and everything. When I play it, she goes crazy. So, yeah. Let's see. That's really all I can say with that. It's pretty common sense when it comes to the kicks. Especially to me, I definitely can notice the feelings, the difference, the looks, everything like that. Now I'm going to talk about my belly growth difference. So with the Phantom, yes, I was growing, but not in a pregnant way. I was growing more of an outward, like, excuse me when I say this, but eating too much or overweight way. I was growing more up here than down there. Like, it was like, I don't know, like I had a muffin top belly. It was weird. So I posted pictures from my last video, but like I said, if you guys haven't seen those, I'll post a couple here too from my Phantom and what my belly looked like. And as you can tell, the bottom part of my belly wasn't lifting up like it's supposed to when you're pregnant. It didn't look like rounded. It looked more lumpier. But yeah, with this pregnancy, I can show you now and also show some pictures. You can definitely tell it's more rounded. You can definitely see it lifting up. You can definitely just tell in general. So let me show you guys real quick. So like I said, let me try to lift this up a bit. Like I said, with this pregnancy, you can tell, if you look at that right there, the lifting up part of my belly. This is my belly. You can tell. And see stretch marks and all of that. My belly button is also, I can say as well, starting to poke out really, really bad, to the point where it's like literally about to pop out. Like I'm gonna have an outie here soon. With the Phantom, my belly button never did that. It stayed always really, really deep. It made an indent, made my stomach look indented. Like I said, like a apron belly or a bee belly, and never really did like this. So that, of course, in itself was a huge difference and is a huge difference. And if that doesn't prove the differences to anybody who, you know, still thinks that the Phantom pregnancy thing was real or whatever, I don't know what else to tell you. But yeah, breast difference now. I'm out of breath, sorry. That's another thing with this pregnancy. Everything makes me out of breath. I just feel so winded for no reason, especially since I've gotten further along. I've just been so winded, very randomly all the time. And so, yeah. Breast difference. So, with this pregnancy, my breasts have grown quite a bit. I've only been wearing bras, like maternity bras, or I'll just show you guys, like the nursing bras where it unclips. My mother actually got me this one, so you can wear it during pregnancy and after when you're breastfeeding. And I've also started to leak. The first time I noticed I was leaking, I was about 23, 24 weeks. And it would happen in little tiny moments, little tiny drops. It wouldn't be a lot. I could notice and definitely tell. And also my areolas, like the little round parts. I'm not going to show you guys that, of course, but the little round part that's around your nipple, has definitely turned so dark. It's turned, let me see if I can find an example real quick. Here, I'll use this. It's turned literally about this color. This dark brown, chestnut color. Like, it's about that color now. With the Phantom pregnancy, my nipples, like the areolas, never really got darker. I thought they were getting darker, but not like this. They always stayed very pale tan, and never really got dark. But now they're definitely, I can definitely tell they're starting to get dark. And my nipples, of course, and breasts, they still hurt to this day during this current pregnancy. The tenderness has not gone away. It's gotten a little bit better, but it's not gone away at all. So it's still there. And yeah, it's, yeah. Let's see, with the Phantom pregnancy, with the leaking and everything, it would only do it when I would force it to, because I just wanted to see if it would come out. And when I would squeeze, if I squeezed hard enough, this like really clear liquid would come out, but it didn't look like how this looks. So TMI moments real quick, but this one, when it comes out on its own, even when, you know, like, yeah, I kind of like squeeze on it just to see, and that's my anxiety, like being like, oh, you gotta see if it's still doing it and it's not trying to trick your mind again. And it's like a whitish color, like a whitish clear, and it's more droppy, like comes out in drops instead of like a big, like little puddle that comes out like it did before, if that makes sense. Because with the Phantom, when I would do it, it wouldn't come out in like little tiny sections and drops. It would come out like almost like a tiny little puddle in the middle of my nipple, and it would just be clear. But with this pregnancy, it comes out in different places, like little tiny drops, like it's supposed to. So yeah, definitely a lot of differences with everything. I think I pretty much got everything down, jotted everything down and discussed everything. The doctors, that's another difference. Doctors have been very patient in answering all my questions. None of them have lied to me that it seemed at all, and they've been very honest. They've helped me a lot, addressed all my concerns. There's never been a time that somebody has told me with this pregnancy that I don't look pregnant or they can't tell. With this pregnancy, definitely everybody's been like, oh yeah, I can definitely tell. People tell me all the time, like, dang, you're getting out there, you're big, blah, blah, blah. With my phantom pregnancy, I thought I was like that, but on the other side, people were like, oh no, like, I don't see anything, I can't really tell. They would be nice about it, but also honest, like, I can't really tell, you don't look like you're showing that much. Or I'd say, you know, I'm this far along and people be like, oh really, I can't tell, and wow, you're really small. This pregnancy, people are like, well, like, you're huge. And yeah, and people definitely notice. Even if I walk in the store, people stare at me. People are very much more nice, like holding the door for me and doing things out of their way for me because they could tell. With the phantom, it was not like that at all. So yeah, guys, that's just a brief summary of the differences. I hope you guys enjoyed. I think I documented everything down. Like I said, I was totally unprepared for everything I was going to discuss. That's why I wrote a few things down. But I wanted to do this as quick as possible to get my videos close enough together so that they weren't too far apart from each other. So yeah, baby shower is tomorrow and I'm excited, and I only have 7 weeks left till baby girl is here, or till my due date, but yeah. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it inspired some people. I hope it gave a lot of information and helped some people as well. Just to anybody out there, I don't want anybody to feel like I'm attacking their beliefs or to feel like I'm trying to prove somebody wrong or I'm trying to act like I'm better than anybody or anything. Either way, I don't want anybody to feel that way about anything that I discuss. That's not my intentions. My true, honest, and genuine intentions is to get my story out there and to help the people who are going through this or who have gone through this, with my story and everything, and to help them get a better image and hear it from somebody who's been through it, and who knows and everything. So that's the only thing I'm trying to do here. So please, if anybody feels attacked by any of my videos or harmed in any way, mentally, that is not my intention. So I want to put that out there ahead of time. But other than that, I appreciate all you watching my videos and watching all the way towards the end. I know I'm not a very good preparer, and you know, my videos are super long because I just like get so sidetrack and it's all over the place. I have to edit because it's just so all over the place, but I try to do my best and I'm getting better, at least I think. But yeah, so I'm going to get off of here. I hope you guys have an amazing night, an amazing Christmas or holiday that is coming up soon, and you know, I hope that everybody is healthy and well as well. So yeah, if you want to, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to catch up with any of my other videos that I post in the future, which I definitely will be. So after this, with all this cryptic pregnancy and phantom talk, phantom pregnancy, when I get done with this, I will be posting more videos about my pregnancy and updating about my pregnancy. I'll also be putting my fiance in my videos so you guys can meet him and everything, and this will be mine and my fiance's little channel. So even though, keep up with my videos, keep up with me. I will keep you guys updated, and yeah, so like this video if you liked it, don't like it if you don't like it. I guess you're free to do whatever you want. All right, well, I'm gonna go. Bye, guys.